Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft episode. Currently, right now, it's the beginning of September, and it's like 4,000 degrees in Vermont, which is just different. It is gorgeous. I love the gentle month of September. So, anyway, this is Kimberly Quinn, and I am super pumped to have this conversation. And what I'd like to talk about today is it's kind of like success doesn't just get dropped on your doorstep. I think a lot of people think this not just with success, with happiness, or they watch people around them and they think, so and so, won the happiness lottery, or boy, isn't she lucky, with all this. This doesn't work like that. So people's success that the rest of us are seeing and that the world is applauding is basically because a whole lot is going on behind the curtain that the rest of us can't see. And so today's talk is kind of about what's behind that curtain and realizing that success leaves clues or little breadcrumbs, and how important it is to attenuate to these little breadcrumbs and follow them, sort of to the big prize. Okay, so we've heard a lot of these, get rich quick schemes, and then sometimes people get super jealous of people whose families may be, more well off, and she just got an inheritance because her great great grandmother left her a fortune or a cupcake business or who knows. But in general, that's just, in general, for most people, that's just not how it works. Like that can happen, but that's just not how it works. So people basically don't just wake up one day and, like they were visited by the success fairy overnight, it's kind of like the tooth fairy, only sprinkling success pixie dust on our heads while sleeping. Not true. I mean, there's a whole process that first starts with kind of asking the question. Well, asking for them is a question, putting it out there, making it just a straight up comment, a statement out to the universe or God or source of the capital S or higher power, or however you want to say, like, um, show me my next move. I've done this through my entire professional life. I was less aware of it. I think I was doing it. I was less aware of it probably in my late 20s and 30s, and then 40s, starting to get it in 50s on that stuff like white on rice. And now I'm super clear. I'm out in the woods with Giovanni, and my hands are both up in the air sometimes, just saying, show me the next move. So whoever that is for you, whether that's the universe, higher power, whatever that spiritual connection is that keeps you on your purpose and in alignment, is really what we're talking about. And so I was inspired. It wasn't this morning. It was a bit ago, this year, but a bit ago, by Tony Robbins, who I've always liked him, but I feel like lately I'm developing a super connection with him. It's just sort of the universe, God's source, the capital S, whatever, is really attracting us. I've kind of been just, I kind of, sometimes I just kind of podcast dip. That's what I call it when I'm just, oh, what do I want to, what short, sweet thing is going to give me a nugget today? And obviously there's algorithms for YouTube and things like that, but it tends to be just what I need to hear. So anyway, Tony Robbins often says that people are, kind of like what I just said earlier, people are rewarded publicly, for that sort of diligence and tenacious work ethic that the rest of us don't often see. And they move forward with their passion by, practicing whatever it is in private. And so one of these, a visual right now, I didn't plan any of this. I kind of, lightning strike me, because sometimes I do plan a little bit. I make some notes. I had some notes from a long time ago for this one, a little bit, but mostly I'm kind of winging it here because it's right in the forefront of my mind. And I was thinking of, I think I was using it for one of my Minecraft classes. I don't really remember, but it's literally a maybe 5 minutes at the most. I think it's like a 3.5 minute video on Michael Phelps and his routine. And he calls it the video in his head. And his coach also calls it the video in Michael's head when he tells him to go watch it. So basically, and Michael Jordan talks about this too, but Michael Phelps is really the one I want to talk about because, and look up the video. If you just look up Michael Phelps, it's like a 3.5 minute video. It's an interview with just his coach. No, not just his coach. I forget who's interviewing. But anyway, it's Michael Phelps and his coach. And basically, during each and every practice, he gets into this routine where it starts with a starting block. He's not even in the water yet. And he's kind of a few little rituals and the whole thing. So by the time he gets to the actual race, or let's say the big race, the Olympics, he's just doing what he does all the time. And it doesn't mean to do this all day long and practice our whole day. No, it does mean to practice this if you're trying to start a new business and I've got a side hustle I'm working on with my Minecraft group. It's a side hustle. It's just a little passion project, and it because I love what I do everywhere else as well. This is just kind of was my next move. So I've been working on that, and they've got loads of tips for really it's mindset is what we're talking about. Really kind of putting these small things into play, and they're all really really good people, very successful. And also, as far as the other successful people, I'm going to say in air quotes, no, like my good friend Oprah, when she talks about people are super successful, and it's defined in a big, broad way. We're not talking about just money. Oprah is definitely not talking about just money, and neither are my masterminders. We're talking about fulfillment and feeling like you've got the world by the ass, like you're just in alignment. You're riding on that high flying disc, just loving life, and that's what I'm talking about. Then the money coming in is like a side effect. Aaron Doughty, in fact, used to talk about that a lot. I haven't listened to him lately, but he used to talk about that in his own way. Do what you love, and the money will follow. That stay in alignment, stay with what your purpose is, in service, doing good things for the world, and the rest will kind of sort of pull together. So, and Tony Robbins also talks about this, and so basically what I'm saying is successful people live deliberately. We live deliberately. We are after sucking the marrow out of life. And it's not like it's how do I want to say this right? We're not efforting. We do have tenacious work ethic, though when you're doing what you love, it's gonna sound a little paradoxical, I suppose. When you're doing what you love, like I love teaching, and that also translates into my well-being role at Champlain because all the workshops I do, it's also educating. It's all the same. It's just different context, different stage, right? And that is also the same as when I speak at places with big audiences or small audiences. It's all the same me going out onto a different stage with different content, but it's all the same passion purpose. It's all the same alignment. And so that's what we're talking about is living deliberately and listening to that inner voice because that's how you will truly find joy is to find what you really, what your purpose is on this earth. Okay, so here are a few things, and um, Tony's in agreement with Oprah and myself, actually, and lots of other people, lots of other athletes. And it doesn't mean you have to be that level. There are all kinds of obviously all kinds of super successful people who no one knows about, and they know, and that's enough, right? And so anybody who I know who's been, like a more of a public figure who you actually know about them, so because they do YouTubes and podcasts or whatever, and they talk about it, as well as my mastermind group, every single one of them talks about these things I'm about to share with you. So whether it's Oprah or my mastermind crew or people in your own life who are super successful, that usually they're morning people, or even if they're not naturally morning people, they have a morning routine and they because they get it done, and there's something about that. It doesn't mean you can't be productive at night. Of course you are. My oldest son is actually a total night owl. And that said, he still gets up and does his little workout routine. And yeah. And so here we say, successful people live deliberately. So here we wake up early. We wake up early. And for me, I'm a morning person sort of naturally. But again, others who are not create the morning routine. So we wake up early because we want to get the jump on another successful day. Successful people realize that every single day is a gift. Not only is every single day a gift, it's not attached to yesterday, last week, last month, or 2018. It's not attached to any of that. Every day is a fresh, brand new start, and every day is a gift, kind of like a blank slate, right? And so we don't want to wake up. This is definitely true for me. We don't want to wake up. Tony Robbins talks about this too, I'm pretty sure. rushing around. We don't want to wake up rushing around. So I have this talk. I just had this talk with my students recently, actually. It's a tougher sell to college students, right? They're not big fans of 8 o'clock classes, or even maybe 9 o'clock class, not 9:30, whatever the next one is, 9:30, 9:15. Mine are in the late morning and afternoon. Um, they're not fans, and the thing is, hitting the snooze button is not good for you. It just isn't. So if you usually get up and have your coffee, let's say the working young professionals, seasoned professionals, whatever professionals, and you typically, you get up at 6:30 or 7 or whatever. You're out the door, by 8, including your shower routine and maybe glancing over the news if that's what you do. I don't in the morning because I don't want to start my day out like that. But whatever. So if you're waking up at, let's say, 6:30 or 7, you're doing the mad dash. You got the coffee set on automatic, and then you're just like you're rushing around to get out of the house. You don't want it. That is just not the way to start a day. Hurried and rushed and playing catch up. So if it's usually, let's just make it in the middle. Usually you wake up at 6:45. Well, then wake up at 6:30 or maybe even 6:15. Giving yourself an extra 15, 20 minutes or half an hour would be even better to actually enjoy your coffee. And for young adults, they are definitely in this group of rushing around and playing catch up and showing up with their to go cups to class, which I'm fine with. I don't care if they drink coffee in class or stand on their heads. It doesn't matter to me. But rather than enjoying it and feeling the warmth, especially in the winter, I'm a hot tea person. And I also like to have, I actually do not have a sweet tooth except in the morning. Sometimes I have like a chocolate chip cookie with the hot tea, and it's the best thing ever. And I want to enjoy it. And how long does that take? Maybe 10 minutes? If you're reading some positive affirmations or something, rather than hitting the snooze button and hitting it again, racing around, getting out the door, slopping that to go cup of coffee into the cup holder, getting the cup holder wet. It's just not the same start to the day. So that's super important because that rushing around really brings chaotic energy into your day. And we know how karma works. There's really no such thing as random, right? One thing leads to another, leads like dominoes all day long. It's basically karma. Well, that's the same with energy. So that chaotic energy is going to lead to more chaotic stuff happening in the day. So we really want to steer clear of that. Give yourself 15 minutes. Eventually, you're going to probably love it, and you'll give yourself a half an hour. But let's say baby steps, 15. So, in a sense, we're talking about people because we know that we reap what we sow. We can turn that into like a million different examples. If somebody spends their whole life being kind and good and generous, they're going to reap kind and good and generous back, right? The whiners and complainers are going to reap more whining and complaining. That's what's going to be attracted to them, that kind of energy. This is how it works. And super successful people, again, you can define it, in all those different ways. Just joyful, fulfilled, living a super rewarding life, wealthy, and you can also define that in all the ways. Healthy, happy, lots of social connections, family, whether it's of origin or chosen, and doing all kinds of being based in good energy and service work and all that kind of thing, and maybe monetarily affluent, and having all the things and all that sort of thing. They are most often, doesn't mean somebody, some big inheritance can't land in somebody's lap, and that's okay. But mostly, the self-built successful people planted all these seeds along this way. They planted the seeds and followed the sprouts or the breadcrumbs or however you want to say. Success leaves clues. It just keeps, so they're reaping what they've sown all the way along. It's not like it just landed in their lap, like the stork, brings the basket, drops it on the doorstep kind of thing. So it's just really important to realize it. Listen to that inner voice, plant the seeds. Don't turn over the dirt and see if they're growing, because they are. Like you put the corn seeds in the ground, that old thing I've talked about, that old example I've used before. The farmer plants the corn seeds knowing that they're going to grow up and turn into corn. The corn knows what to do. So just plant the seeds, know that it's going to happen. Just continue to nurture it, water it, let the sun shine on it. Feel that confidence of the corn's going to grow, and then harvest it in the end. And that's really it. All right. Oh, wait a second, because I realized I wanted to share Jennifer's message to me. It's super short, and I think it'd be nice for you all to hear it. And so I'm going to play it right about now.
Hey, Kimberly, this is Jennifer Martinez. I just wanted to say I hope your recovery is going well. I'm a big fan of your podcast, and I just think you're fantastic. And I hope that you're doing well in your healing process. And I know it's not easy, and I hope you can feel all of the prayers that are out there for you. So, all right, have a nice weekend. Bye.
So big thank yous to Jennifer. Jennifer, just so you know, you made my day. Your kindness and your kind words lifted my spirit, and you also get the prize for being my very first voicemail. And so I hope others will start to make comments and different things about the podcast as well. And so just a big shout out of gratitude for all of my listeners, and thank you again, Jennifer. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful, very hot and scorchy northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.